All right, Kenman here with a little, I don't know what we're going to call this. Interesting repair project slash checking out an item that we know nothing about slash will it even turn into a video? Before we start, I'm not sponsored by anyone. I purchase everything at retail price, and I do these videos because I love discussing knives and sharing info and ideas with others. If you have any questions or thoughts, please feel free to comment below. Okay, long story short, a friend slash coworker has this knife and has an issue and wanted to know if I could do anything about it. So here we are. I've got it. It's in my possession. We're going to check it out today, see what we can figure it out. There is not a lot of information on said knife other than the issue that it has. So it came with this nice little sheath. Simple little nice snap on the front there. Little loop for the belt. And we have this bad boy right here. So it's got a nice little wooden handle, some cool inlays, and some pin work. So that's going to be some brass on this side here with the wood. Really nice hand-tooled kind of cuts. Looks like a brass liner, and then this middle piece, not sure, maybe a steel. Damascus bolsters, and then a Damascus blade. It's got a thumb stud. I can flip it open, but the problem is it's not locking out. Something is loose. It looks like it's wide and is gapped out up there, which is the issue. So we're going to kind of check that out in a second. But it's got a cool, careful. Blade does not want to stay open. You're going to cut yourself. It's got a nice little look. It's got when it's open, it stays open. It's got a nice feel. That kind of tucks your hand in there. Makes it feel safe at home. That Damascus on there, it's got a cool look to it. Thumb stud is only on one side. Not super fan of that. You know, they kind of made a little cutout specifically for it. Although I think that where it is, with the height that it sticks out, you could have that on that side, and then you could end up doing it. I gotta be careful of this thing. I should probably get to work on it before I mess around too much. But yeah, I think they could have made that a little bit more both side. But whatever. It's not bad. I like that little inlay too. That inlay pin, the extra accents of the color. All little notches all the way around it. It's a nice little design, cool little look. I hope we can maybe get it fixed for them. Okay. First things first, let's get a couple of T8s. I wonder if that is, it's not going to be a captive pivot. Let's see if one side spins. Nope, I can loosen this side up. All right. And especially, I always like to be careful when I take a knife apart, pay attention where parts go. A lot of times screws might not make a difference. In this case, I am going to pay attention. Right side, right thumb, right side, left side. Okay, right side. All right, so those screws are going to go back in the exact same home they were in. What do we have going on in there? There is still some type of, I don't know if it's like a barrel, or is that just the pin? All right, we're going to have to take the whole bolster off, it looks like. Oh, and that isn't even, oh, I get it. Here I was thinking that's because it's not a captive pivot. The pivot is right there. The pivot isn't even that screw. So you can't even adjust. There's no screw hole for the pivot to adjust. Interesting. Okay, so these bolsters, this is the right side. That's a cool looking little chunk of a Damascus bolster. Oh, it's just a pin. It might have just got bent. All right, well, let's find out. Take this the rest of the way off. Was I off camera there? I apologize. Got to pay attention there, Kenman. They keep the action where the people are. Okay. Here we are. So that needs to... Interesting. Because right now, you can't even open it enough for the lock to engage. See that? And that's the issue, is it needs to open further, but it can't because... Is it supposed to... I wonder what that second... Is that the hole that that was in? Okay. Interesting. I'm not sure how we could get that to open further. I'm pretty sure he said that it worked when he got it. But right now, like, this can't pivot open any further. No matter how pinched or sandwiched that is, that stops right there. You can see it. That's its limit. That's what puts it where it is. But that's also not far enough for that lock to push over at all. So I'm not sure, because that's like a bend like this way, you can't really change that angle. So I don't know how, unless this bent this way, that might be it. And I might need to pry that bar out. Well, okay. What do we think about videos like this? Hit the like button if you enjoy it. Subscribe if you'd like to see more. Let me trying to think of something I could pry in there that isn't a knife, obviously, but is skinny enough to get in there. I don't know. Got some various tools around here. Maybe the tip of this nail clipper might be enough. I gotta remember that that's a blade. Okay, got that forward. That's what I wanted. Twist that up a little bit, and you can get it in there. There it is, locked into position. Okay, that's proof of concept, something like that. All right, let me go over here and get something with a little bit more power to it. I don't know if that's going to work either. Kenman, why don't you have all your tools and everything you could potentially need for the job right at your fingertips before you started recording said video? Well, whoever it may be asking that question, that's apparently not my style, I guess. I can't seem to find the prying driver that I want more than anything to appear. Okay, here we go. And we're back. Yeah, that's what I thought. I won't be able to get that in there. I don't want to go too far, but we want to go enough, obviously, because overstretch something and then now you're completely... Okay, that actually might be a good idea. So I'm trying to get in here, and then I'm going to give it some torque as lightly as I can, but it's thin, so it doesn't want to play nice. Come on now. Luckily, so basically just trying to get it that way a little bit. And he said he's had this for quite a while. And so it's like, let me know if you can get it to work. You can get it to work. If not, But I honestly think as long as we can get it to hold, there we go, that distance is a little bit more straight right through there now. See what I'm saying? A couple little metal shavings there, that's perfect. Okay, so it's really just got a pin connected to it and a couple like nylon washers, I guess. So let's see if we can. I'm going to have to use this. Get it apart, get her in there. Be careful that you have a blade in your hand. Always remember when you're working on a knife that you have a sharp item and you can easily cut yourself. Okay, so that needs to bend a lot more. You know, almost snap that down like that. Okay, we are getting somewhere. Now we've got our blade, and the thing is it still doesn't quite engage, so I need to get it a little bit further. I think just out of sheer smartness, this is just painter's tape. But I'm just going to make a little loop right there. Just to be safe. You're prying and doing things. You're putting pressure and torque. That is where you can have that little scary scenario that we don't want to go through. Also, like I said, I'm trying to be as gentle as possible. I know I'm forcefully bending metal. Gently. Like what? But if you go too far, it might not be able to go back. And if you start going back and forth, that's when you get to that loosening and breaking down that section that is now going to fail. And it'll just be a breaking point for that metal. So like I said, I'm not trying to go crazy because I could just go womp and just give this a big bend right now. But I really don't want to do that. I want to take my time here and try to get it so that I can get it to go over like that. Basically, every time it goes up and then it can go over. So now we kind of have it almost there. Let me go just another little bit because it'll probably settle or kind of want to go back to where it was. Got to be careful with these metal shavings too. They're easy little slivers you can get in your hands that are not excellent. Okay, so now our issue is we need to bend this spring over so that it has pressure going that way. And it wants to go that way when the blade engages, which is tougher to do. You almost have to have it apart and give it that bend so that when you put it in there, it has the natural bend. And so the blade pushes it away and it just wants to bend back over. But now it doesn't really want to bend back over very much, and it's stiff right there where it rubs. This might be one of those things that getting it into a fully functional, might be able to get this lock to hold it, but will it be a reliable thing, or will it be an item that you just put on your shelf and take out once in a while and check it out and be like, this thing's cool looking, and call it a day? The lock does work good now. You can see that right there, it goes over. There it is, disengaged. It opens up. It can be pushed over, but it doesn't want to naturally really engage. We'd have to find a way to bend it. But unfortunately, this whole back half is pinned. And with pins, the only thing you can do is hammer those pins out, put new pins in, but then you'd have to sand those pins, refinish the whole handle. It kind of changes the thing. I do have just got a CNC machine, and so that might be something that I could try, making new handles and kind of redoing the whole thing. But, you know, how far do you want to go with something like this? You know, like if you've got, I don't know how much it probably was not too terribly expensive. But you know, how much effort do you want to put into, what's going on here? Oh, I see. Into an item. You know, like if you found something that was like valuable, that was from the family that you want to restore or something like that, even then, sometimes messing with it might mess it up when you could just as easily just put it on your shelf and just enjoy it for what it is. So it just kind of comes down to that and what you want to do. And sometimes if you're a project person like myself and you've got something, you just want to use it. And with my new CNC machine, I do need some items for some test type pieces. And in reality, a piece like this where it's just flat on the bottom and just has a shape to it wouldn't be that hard or that bad of an idea to use. All right, so there's the lock. I'm going to take this tape back off now. And right now that lock is engaged, and so it still has a little bit of wobble. I don't know, it probably always had a little bit of play like that. You can move that lock over, close it. It does fire out, but the lock does not want to engage. So that's our issue, is that spring wants to spring it back more than it wants to spring it over. I don't know if we were to wedge something in here, if that's going to put a weird bend on it. But careful. That's kind of what we want, is it bent that way so that it would be locked out. But I have a feeling that it's just going to be one of those things we might not really be able to ever do anything with. Well, that time it worked. It engaged it. Maybe not by a lot, but enough. You know, it was like that little bit. Over half of the lock was over into the blade. Yeah. Like I said, comment below, what do we think about little projects and messing around with knives like this? Is it something where you don't want to, why waste the time on it? Or people like tinkering, like watching stuff where we get to kind of just do a little experimenting with it? Yeah, it's kind of fun. Reality is though, something like that or something like this one here with those simple scales, I am going to start to get going on my CNC machine. So look forward to that in the future. If you haven't seen this little concept lock back, it's a really cool knife. Check out the video for it up there. But I will definitely be trying some CNC scales for it. Watch for that in the future. Stay sharp. See you soon.